In today's video, I'll be making an expansion draft for the Seattle Kraken, which will come up in a few days. And this is a mock draft, so I won't be making any trades or whatever. And this is probably going to be bad, because I'm not Seattle's manager, general manager, or anything, so I don't know what they're thinking. And if you want to see the protection list, you probably go on NHL's website, and you can see an explanation of the rules on Cap Friendly's expansion draft FAQ, and thanks to Cap Friendly for making this interactive expansion draft simulator. So we start off with the Anaheim Ducks. They've got Getzlaf, who's a great player, but not a great selection. Adam Henrique has a long contract for 2024. Shattenkirk's alright as well, but I'd go with Sonny Milano. He's young, and he has a nice contract, a restricted free agent for next year. For the Coyotes, we've got Andrew Ladd's monstrosity of a contract. He's played no games, that's why he's 27. A lot of UFAs on their defense. A lot of RFAs on their forward side, young forwards. But I'll go with Fisher. He has a $1 million contract and expires next year, so he'll gain a contract. And here we've got Tuukka Rask, Krejci, and Hall, all on expiring contracts, so they'll probably not be picked. Ritchie's a candidate, I suppose. You go with Sanchez, former first round pick. Was Borgil another former first round pick, but I think the three candidates are Clifton, Lauzon, and Borgil, and I feel like Lauzon's outplayed them, so I'd pick Lauzon. And he's younger than Clifton. Still an RFA after next year. And for the Sabres, we've got Jeff Skinner, who's waived as NMC here, expiring 2027. Think of that. $9 million a year. So I think I'd pick Girgensons or Miller. Both solid players, not the best. Contracts are a little high, but they're doable. And I'll go with Miller for now. Let's get another right side defense. On the Flames, we've got Giordano and Lucic. Probably not going to be picked. Their contracts are pretty big. They're old, so I doubt they'd go that way. But otherwise, there's not too many players they could pick. They could probably pick Shillington or Glenn Godin or Matt Phillips. So, I mean, they'd probably go with the prospects since they can't just have 30 NHL players on 18 roster spots. Or 23 if you want to count the bench. But Matt Phillips will be my pick. On the Hurricanes, we've got Dougie Hamilton, would be a good pick if he had a contract. A lot of goalies here. And Nino Niederreiter and Geeky. Geeky's had a decent year. We'll go with him. For the Blackhawks, we've got Brett Connolly, Ryan Carpenter, and Calvin DeHaan with contracts for next year. Two decent goalies in Dealey and Subban. Not the best. They'll probably serve as backups or AHL starters. And I think one of the forward prospects is probably best. Whether that be Gaudette, Dickinson, or Quenneville. Quenneville's a free agent, never mind, UFA. I'm going to actually go for that. So it'll be Adam Gaudette. And for Colorado, we've got Landeskog and Saad, both UFAs, so they'll probably not be picked. Dubnik out here. Johnson waived his no movement clause, but he'll probably still not be moved with his $6 million per year contract. And Comfer seems to be the best choice here. $3.5 million, and still has 2 years left. For Colorado, they did not protect Max Domi. You know, that would be a good pick, but gotta consider the salary. We're at $13 million. The cap's 81.5, so I'll go with Carlson or Stenlund. But yeah, I'll take Stenlund here. For the Stars, there's not too many great players I can see here. We've got Adam Masherin, Tanner Hero, Julius Honka. I suppose I could try Honka. Shakira's. Shakira's not the best choice here at 35. Joel Esperance an RFA next year. And I picked too many forwards, so I'll have to go with the defenseman. Probably pick Julius Honka. On the Red Wings, we've got Jonathan Bernier, Mark Stahl, Danny DeKeyser, Troy Stetcher, and guys like Nielsen and Helm and Filppula. But picking a veteran would probably be not the best decision, so Domestikov at $2 million per year for 1 year, I think be a decent pick. For the Oilers, they didn't protect Clefbaum, who's injured. Koskinen has $4.5 million on his contract. They could pick Turris as well. And maybe they could pick Clefbaum just to keep him on the IR and hope that he plays in a year or two. Or they could go with Tyler Benson, but I feel like I have too many forwards, so I'll just keep that pick. For Florida, they've got some forwards like Wenberg and Vatrano. Defenseman, they got Stroman and Montour. Drieger at goalie, who's a UFA. I think Vatrano's the best player here, at least on the forward side, the defenseman. And I think I'll take Vatrano, yeah. For the Kings, we've got Oli Mata with his $3 million contract. McDermott, Cale Clegg, Austin Wagner, and Brendan Lemieux. Well, I suppose they should get a fighter. They totally need a fighter. So let's go with Brendan Lemieux. For the Wild, they didn't protect Kaapo Kähkönen. I think he's a decent goalie, so I haven't picked a goalie, so that'll be the one. Montreal has a lot of interesting players. They got Shea Weber here, Carey Price, Jonathan Drouin, Paul Byron even. But Weber and Price aren't big contracts. They'd be good players, but yeah, maybe I'll pick them. But it is a long contract and they're big. So for a safe choice, I'd pick Kulak, but if I want to go for it, I'll pick Carey Price, and I'll do that. I don't suppose many goalies will be left. For the Predators, we've got Sissons, Grimaldi. Well, decent. Sissons has a long contract too, but it's not too big. Johansson, on the other hand, and Duchesne have $8 million contracts. It's kind of outrageous. On defense, you've got Benny, Borowiecki, Branson, Connor Ingram's decent goalie prospect. So I'll scoop him up as a prospect goalie. Devils left decent players out. Will Butcher, Janssen, Merkley, Studenic, Bastian. Let's go with Andreas Janssen. The Islanders here, I think they protected for defense, and no, I'm not sure actually. I don't think they did, but they have Eberle and Bailey. You could probably pick one or the other. Go with Eberle. I think he's better offensively, but I'm not sure about the defense. We're getting close to the minimum, though. And for the Rangers, well, probably someone with a minimum contract since D'Angelo's had his issues. Brendan Smith, his expiring contract. Jack Johnson as well. Barclay Goodrow's also expiring. So Julien Gauthier. Probably be my pick. For the Senators, oh, there's not a lot of defensemen to pick. Josh Brown, Golubev, Vikstrand. Matt Murray is an interesting pick. But I'd stay away from Matt Murray. The Donov's also interesting, but I'll probably go with the prospect like Vitaly Abramov. Just to keep on the bench. But I do need defensemen, thinking about it. For the Flyers, we've got Voracek, Van Riemsdyk, Goes to spare Braun and Hegg. Although I'm inclined to pick Goes to spare, but his contract's just a little big. And considering the players on other teams, I'll probably go with Robert Haig. Could switch it. Yeah, like this for the Penguins, they've got DeSmith, Zucker, and Pettersson. And since I need defensemen, I'll go with Marcus Pettersson. On the Sharks, they have Martin Jones, Alex Sorensen, Shemek. Again, I picked too many forwards earlier, so I'll go with Radim Shemek. For the Blues, they've got Vladimir Tarasenko, who I think would be a great pick. Semi Blaze also a great small contract pick, but Tarasenko's potential. He could play well, but he's only been injured the whole year. That's a problem. Can't really tell. So the defense, they got Vince Dunn, who's an RFA, also a good pick. But I'll have to go with Tarasenko. Too hard to resist that. The Lightning protected for defensemen. Chernak being lost with McDonough, Hedman, and Sergachev. And the goalies aren't very appealing. They have Cal Foote, who might be a solid pick. But their forwards include Palat, Gore, Johnson, and Killorn. Well, maybe Matthew Joseph, but I mean, look at these contracts. They protected 9 players, so yeah, they do have a big forward contracts out here. I'll go with Cal Foote. Again, you need prospects to fill up this team. You can't just have all of them being forwards. On the Maple Leafs, you got Travis Dermott, Zach Bogosian, the legend here, and Freddie Anderson was also a free agent, so we can go for him. Spezza and Thornton, 2 veterans here. Galchenyuk, Kerfoot, McCann, I think would be good picks. McCann being younger and has the smaller contract, so I'll scoot with McCann. Ooh, the Canucks. What is this? Braden Holtby's on a big contract, so is Edler at 35. Oh, it's expiring. But Louis Eriksson has 1 more year on his contract. Ooh, that's not looking very good. I have 16 forwards, 8 defenses, and 3 goalies. I think I'll just pick 3 goalies. And I could go for Madison Bowie on a minimum contract. Don't want to exceed 81.5 at too much. Could go with Cole Lind as a prospect. Yeah, let's go with Cole Lind for now. Maybe I'll change it. As we look at the Capitals here with Ovechkin. Look at just pick up Ovechkin. Vanacek here. Vanacek would be a decent pick actually. He's played well. Schultz, Dylan, Jensen. Pick Vanacek. Maybe I'll switch one of the teams I picked a goalie from. Let's see the Predators. Matt Benning. Yes, I'll pick Matt Benning. No. Consider all these players. Kempney, Jensen. Yeah, actually. Yeah, I'll pick Matt Benning. And the last pick was the Jets. Well. We got Boissois, Berdine, Beaulieu, Paul Stastny's expiring contract. Look at Nathan Beaulieu, and that'll round out the roster. There's no pick from Vegas. It's a bit disputable whether they should have to protect their players or not. And view team, session security token is expired. I'll refresh the page. Continue my draft. Alright, what's going on? Cat friendly, please don't disappoint me. There we go. So we've got several free agents here. Phillips, Abramov, Gaudette, Lind, Honka, and Foote. I think this is a decent roster. You got Tarasenko on the first line. Maybe Janssen, McCann, Mestikov playing center. Ooh, picked a bit too many right wingers. Let's see. Yeah, he's injured. Beaulieu's also injured, so defensive line be like Pedersen, Miller, Schumacher, Hegg, Benning, and Lozon. This is not too bad, or Foot, depending on how it goes. Gary Price is a great goalie, 10.5 million. We'll have to be careful with that one though. 65 million with these contracts. Vanacek and Kakkonen. Oh right, one of us play the AHL. Yeah, right. Let's change that. Let's pick up. Take Nick Jensen, I think. It's alright. Maybe I should pick up Kerfoot as center. Oh wait, I just switched one of these picks to a goalie. Yeah, there we go, Ingram. Oh, Rene is here. I didn't see him last time. But alas, here we go. First time twice something like Janssen, Comfort, Tarasenko, second leg up at Toronto, McCann, and Eberle, Domestikov, Stenlund, Fisher, Geeky, yeah, all that. The forwards, I think, are a little lacking, especially the center depth. But I think some people could go to center, like Domestikov or Comfort. On defense, there are a few injured guys, so just stash them on the IR or something. You've got Pedersen, Miller, Jensen, Shemek, Hegg, Blazon. So decent. You've got Price and Kakkonen with Ingram in the minors. And that's all for my expansion draft.